Hey, welcome to another episode of Hard to Guard TV. I'm Edgar Burgos, and I want to introduce a longtime friend who's now an entrepreneur. I've known this guy since he was in college. I know his beautiful wife. He has a great spirit. Since I met him, always had a smile, always competed, was always a competitor, loved to win. And then something happened last year with COVID, and he was always in the pharmacy business. And he's a fitness guy. Always stayed working out. Always told me to get in shape. Edgar, what are you doing? What are you eating? And then he came up with a concept where he's turned a small business into becoming a big business. And I want to introduce Rickey Decosta of Healthy Vibez. What's up, Rickey? Founder of Healthy Vibez.
It's funny you say entrepreneur, right? I was doing something a few weeks ago when somebody, gave me a little interview, and they were like, entrepreneur and founder. And I'm saying to myself, that's kind of like the cliche thing now, right? Because everybody's trying to be an entrepreneur. And shout out to everybody who is starting their own venture, because that's kind of the way to go right now, considering, it's an opportunity that people didn't think they could capitalize on, that they could pursue now. So, but, back to my point, kind of gave me the chills, right? Because this is something I've always wanted to do and be up that health arena and really just help people get healthy and, really just take care of their lives, to your point, what you said earlier, right? And I was always on top of you and making sure keeping your body in check, taking care of your health. So, it gives me the chills knowing that, we're doing something to better our community, to better people's lives. And whether that, kind of leads me down that entrepreneurial lane, I'll consider it as long as what I'm doing is helping the community. So I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no problem. Let's take it back a little bit, because you was in the pharmacy business for a long time. And one, why did you get into the pharmacy business? And then I just want to talk about how you and Brie decided, during COVID, like, hey, let's try to help people get in, better health, and let's give them information on how they could stay healthy.
Yeah, so I mean, it goes back to roughly about 11 years, being in the pharmaceutical industry, and I have a brother who passed away years ago, due to epilepsy, and that was kind of like my segue into medicine, the side effects of medicine, what he was taking, and what I could do to sort of transition from being that basketball health guy right into the pharmaceutical world to potentially help other people. I don't want to say anything too down the lane or too brash that may sort of bite me in the butt, right? But the pharmaceutical industry is quite peculiar in a way. It's kind of strange. It's kind of interesting. I've always had morals, right? I don't ever want to sell anything that I morally don't feel right about. And being in the pharmaceutical industry, there's so much products out there, right, that people are taking. I didn't really feel comfortable selling or even talking about, right? Because typically the way how that industry goes is, you work for a company, you got a product, you convince the doctors to prescribe that product, and then obviously you get paid, some nice bonuses due to that, right? But then it got to the point where I said to myself, you know what? There were some things I sold. I won't get into any specifics, but there were some things I sold that I was saying to myself, I would never take this, right? So why the hell am I selling this? Why the hell am I trying to convince doctors to take this, right? But then on the flip side, there were others that, that I sold that I felt good about, to your point about speaking to you about health, right? We won't get in, again, to any specifics, but, there were some complications that I know you experienced personally that me being in the pharma industry actually helped you, right? Considering I had access to a lot of these drugs. So, that's the positive side of it, right? Because when you're selling a product that you feel morally good about, that's actually helping and benefit the lives of people, that's something that's plausible, right? But for you, I always stayed on top of you, man, because I don't like seeing people unhealthy, because once the healthcare system got you, they got you. And the sad part is they know how to keep you unless you have the intellect to understand certain things that you're taking. Is this something, conceptually speaking, right, for coming from the individual who's taking the medicine, right? Is this something, do I need to take long term? Or is this sort of like a short term, putting a Band-Aid on a wound? I could get myself out of that as long as I, do the right things and take care of my body and not have to, weed myself off of this medication. So as we try kind of transition during this COVID phase, This business started when, I was just working out. I'm an early morning guy, right? I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, get my day started. I like to, spend those 2 hours from 5 to 7 working out.
So those handball videos.
You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because that actually, if nobody has done that, I highly suggest people get up early. I know you got to discipline yourself to get your body up, but listen, man, the things you could do from that 5 to 7 hour window period, you'll be amazed at what you could get done, right? So, I was working out and I came off my Peloton bike, was doing a little exercise, and I've always eaten sea moss. It's been a part of my family tradition. I'm West Indian. I came from the West Indies, from Jamaica, and my family's always consumed it. And when I went to my fridge, get a little post-workout, eating some sea moss, that's when it hit me. So I'm eating this, and Brie, my wife, has always said, you never get healthy. You never get sick. You're always healthy. Your energy's always through the roof. And she kind of contributes that to, obviously, the nutrition I eat, and one of it being sea moss. So as I'm eating it, I'm thinking to myself, I'm hearing ambulance outside, right? Because this is kind of like the start of the peak of COVID. I'm hearing ambulance outside.
March.
And I'm like, what can I do to get this community better, right? What can I do to help people get their immunity, on another level? What can I do to boost that? So as I'm eating it, I'm like, wait a minute, I got something right here in my hand that I could get out to the community. Mind you, there are people out there who are consuming sea moss, who are eating sea moss, right? But it kind of hit me on another level where can I take this and scale it? But not scale it on a monetary side, but scale it to get individuals who don't know about sea moss to consume it, knowing the benefits are so tremendous that it will eventually, get people's body in check, right? Keep people's immune system in check. So that's when it dawned on us, right? And one thing led to, just telling a few of our family members that we sell sea moss, and that led to other customers. That led to more word of mouth. Customers from other states hearing about it.
Hold on a sec. What I did want to make sure that you and Brie, sat down together and figure out a plan to make sea moss. So one, you had to go get the sea moss. How was that process? And then two, you guys started doing this on weekends. It started Saturdays and Sundays. So I want to go into that.
Yeah, good point. So it's funny you say that. So we've always consumed sea moss, but everybody's palate's different. So we were just eating sea moss without the alkaline ingredients that we currently have, right? So we have the alkaline, we have the organic honey, organic cinnamon, organic lemon juice, and then of course the organic sea moss. So it took us a while to create that foundational ingredients, right? And then once we started eating our sea moss with those ingredients, that's when it hit us like we could scale this. Because if we like it, even though it doesn't really matter what we like, it really matters what the customer likes. But Brie is very picky about what she eats, right? The texture, the taste, and everything, right? But when she liked it, she was like, "Yeah, this is good. I like this," right? And then obviously, my mother, she's very picky too. My mother liked it, but yeah. So we were kind of getting sea moss from our local health food store off the block on Church Avenue. Shout outs to Nani, who was supplying me at first. But here's the funny thing about that, right? So I was going there every day getting sea moss because, we were selling a few jars, and a few jars turned into, a lot of jars. And, we were just doing it on the weekend because obviously during COVID, there was nobody on the road. So we were able to deliver it to everybody without, having to go into traffic. So we were taking advantage of that. But then it got to the point where other people were telling other people. And next thing you know, I'm hitting up my man Wayne over at Nani's at the health food spot. I'm like, yo, instead of needing a few ounces, I need a few pounds. And he was like, oh, really? So he started feeling some kind of way because I was buying up all his sea moss. And then I said to him, I'm like, yo, who's your supplier, right? something that any entrepreneur, any businessman is going to do. Cut out the middleman. So he was like, I can't give you my supply. I'm like, I need your supplier because, one, I want to buy it in bulk, but two, I want a better price, right? So he actually didn't give us the sea moss at a price that we wanted once we started to scale the business. So then, just like what they say, right? You don't need Google because you have your wife, right? A woman will always find out details and get very specific down to the micro level and how they could do things for you, right? In terms of business. So Brie, we were on Facebook one day, and Brie's trying to find out where all the suppliers are in the Caribbean. And I reached out to a few of my family members in Jamaica. And they never really wanted to help me because they knew I was going to be making money. But I said, it's not even about the money. And if you guys need some money, I'll take care of you. They still didn't want to help me. So Brie went on Facebook, started searching all these Facebook groups, found out that, that we got a supply out in Grenada. I contacted them through WhatsApp, and one thing led to another. Now we get hundreds and hundreds of pounds shipped on a weekly basis because that's how much sea moss we're selling. So shout out to Brie for finding, Willon, who's now part of our business. He's our business partner. He's out in Grenada. He harvests all the sea moss for us. He's harvesting about 1,000 pounds a month. We're getting about 200 to 300 pounds a week now sent over from Grenada. I do want to say, the way how he harvests the sea moss is far different than many other suppliers out there. Because let me tell you right now, I won't curse, but there's some BS suppliers out there selling sea moss. Some people are putting bleach in the sea moss to kill the preservatives and kill all the other crap, which is terrible because you're consuming that, right? And then you got some farmers out there that are putting pesticides and herbicides, similar to what people do to plants, into the sea moss to kill all the bacteria. No bueno. Our supplier, he's got his own backyard and his own bay where he supplies and harvests all the sea moss. No chemicals, no pesticides, no bleach, any of that. Straight up organic, wild harvested sea moss. So here we are now getting hundreds of pounds shipped to us from Grenada on a weekly basis. And we're getting a lot of people healthy out there. So, that makes me proud.
So what was crazy that I know you was doing deliveries during like the peak of COVID, and I know like one time it was so funny. You dropped off sea moss to my crib, and you text me when you was downstairs like, "At your door," and I was like, "Dad, this guy didn't even say hello, nothing, goodbye." You kept it as safe as possible, and I thought that I was like, "Man, this guy's really moving around."
Yeah.
Obviously made me proud. But I just want to talk about, like, when did you know that, when did you and Brie know, and when did you have a discussion that you was going to turn this into a full-time business?
Yeah, so shout out to Brie. Again, my wife, she without her, we wouldn't be in the position that we're in right now. She's really the backbone of this, right? You guys don't really see a lot on our content that we putting out on social media. So once it got to the point where we had people that I didn't even know was hitting me up on Instagram or Facebook. Hey, heard about your sea moss. I was wondering how I could get some. Here's the crazy part, E. This is why the power of social media is so influential in an entrepreneurial business, right? And what you're doing, how it can completely impact in a negative way, but obviously in a positive way. For us, it impacted us in a positive way. So, people were contacting us on Facebook, on Instagram. Hey, how can I get your sea moss, right? So we set up an email and we were telling people, hey, if you need some sea moss, just either DM me personally on my social media or email us at this email address. That all of a sudden went everywhere, right? People were telling other people, yo, contact, this guy, Rick. At the time, we didn't even have a name, Healthy Vibez, right? It was just contact Rick on his DM, his Instagram handle. And then my partner, Maurice Bailey, who's a serial entrepreneur, he saw that we were moving, right? We, to your point, dropping off sea moss everywhere, right?
How did you connect?
So Mo, he's actually a close friend of mine. We played ball overseas. He actually played in Russia. We were actually at an overseas camp in Florida one time, and we just kind of connected. We've been been together since for a while now. And so Maurice actually said, yo, I don't know why you guys haven't like officially turned this into a business. So I said, you know why? Because it's not even about the money or anything like that. He was like, no. Let's do this the right way, right? So then he came on board, and then we figured out a name for the company, which is called Healthy Vibez, which took us quite some time to figure that out. And then, we got the LLC and officially turned it to a business. And then, obviously we got the website put up and everything. And that's when it became a little bit more convenient. But kind of rewind before we even get to that point, while we were still doing this without the website, we were getting an influx of orders to the point where we were like, yo, we were up to 3-4 o'clock in the morning responding to all these requests and all these people buying. And then me being who I am, I'm on social media looking at all the influencers and all the fitness women, all the fitness men. And I'm like, I'm about to just start reaching out to people because I see that clearly people are benefiting from the benefits of sea moss. And I reached out to a few celebrities, one of them being Dre Michelle out in Cali. That was on Basketball Wives, right? And I was just like, yeah, look, I see you're into your health. We're selling something called sea moss. Not sure if you're aware of it, but, we'd love to send you a few jars. And a few of them bit, her being one of them, and we sent her a few jars. Next thing you know, again, the power of social media, all she did was just post a jar and said, thank you, Healthy Vibes.
And she did it on her own.
She did it on her own. We didn't even ask her to do it. All I wanted her to do, all I wanted was feedback. That's it. All I wanted was feedback. But she loved it. She loved the package that we sent her. She loved the jars that we sent her. And next thing you know, orders started coming in through the roof. That weekend, we couldn't even sleep. We're getting orders from Cali. We're getting orders from Argentina. We're getting orders from Canada, right? Because she's got 8 million people following her. So that's when we said, you know what? That's when we got the website. Because I'm like, Brie was sitting there responding to everybody. Then we had, Brie's mother responded to people. Then I had my oldest daughter responding to people because the orders were coming in. And so I said, we can't maintain it like that. And that's when Maurice, my partner, said, look, let's get a website. Let's turn this into a business and let's make this official.
So now, so now, you have the website, and now the next goal is to all of a sudden I go on Facebook and I'm like, okay, now Rickey's in stores now. He's one store, 2 stores, 3 stores. How did that come about?
Because I'm a hustler, E. I'm a hustler. And I always said to myself, I don't care what I sell. When you're passionate about something, you can take that to another level, right? You can't take passion away from somebody knowing that what they're doing is actually benefiting people. And clearly I'm getting passionate about it right now because I just hear the stories of people, saying that they want high blood pressure and, they've been taking our sea moss and they're benefiting from it. So, so it got to the point where, we got the website and stores started hitting us up. Right, because other people were saying, "Yo, how come you guys aren't selling sea moss? Yo, I know a really good reputable brand, Healthy Vibes." So people were actually kind of doing that for us. But on top of that, I knew me being a hustler with this product and us picking specific alkaline ingredients. I said to myself, "Who would not want to take this? Right? It's not only great for you, but it actually tastes good." So we made sea moss kind of fun, where people could actually consume it right out the jar, instead of, putting it in their smoothies and everything else, which you can do. But because people could make it, eat it conveniently right out the jar, that's what kind of made it more fun. So, so stores started hitting us up. And then once this one store hit us up, actually, we started selling it at the store where I was getting the sea moss from originally, Nani's. And then he realized that customers were coming in like crazy and buying it. And he was like, "Oh, you got something here, right?"
How crazy is that?
You see how the tables turned now, right? So that's when he started saying to me, "Look, how much sea moss you want?" I'm like, "Nah, man, I got a supply now. I'm good." He was like, "What?" I said, "You know what? Let me start selling you sea moss." So here I am today. Now I'm selling him pounds of sea moss, right? You see how the tables turn? But he's my man though, so kudos to him. But so once we got it in Nani's, the health food stores on 53rd and Church. And people started coming in and buying it. I'm like, I want to get this in more stores. So I started hitting up a bunch of health food stores in Brooklyn, started off locally. And then, people started selling out quick, like to the point where I was giving them a few jars just to sell in the store. And a few jars, per week started turning into cases a week. And then other stores were telling other stores. But I kind of made a decision where any store I sell it in, it's got to be within an 8-mile radius, right, of each other. And why I picked 8 miles, it's kind of an arbitrary number, right? But I didn't want to sell to a one store and then next door, this other store selling it, right? I just didn't want to do that. So I kind of told myself, make it a, 8 to 10 mile radius. So now here we are, in 15 retail stores out in Long Island, in Brooklyn. We'll be going to be in a few in Queens. And to be quite frank, we're at the point now where we're going to start, getting a factory where we can start mass producing this at a scale level. And we'll probably be in about 50 different retail stores by the end of 2021.
That's awesome.
Healthy Vibez Sea Moss Gel is coming to a city near you.
So can you talk about the experience that you had? Because obviously you've always been a seller, and you was in pharmaceutical sales. How much did that help you with Healthy Vibez?
That's actually a really good question, right? So me being a sales guy that I am, I was going into stores selling it as a way to, boost people's immunity, right? It wasn't about, you can make this much money and I can make it. It wasn't even about that. And I think people tend to cater towards that because they see how genuine you are about that, right? And I've always been that I felt, I mean, I could be wrong. This may be subjective, right? An opinion-based statement, but I feel like I'm a genuine person. And because I feel like that, I think that energy kind of correlates to how if somebody else is a genuine person, right? And so me, being in sales my whole life, pretty much, me being that cliche people's person, I felt that I could connect with anybody, right? That's kind of what you are as a salesperson. You're a chameleon. You got to adapt to the environment that you're in. So, when I was just reaching out to other stores, and the reason why we saw clearly this is the health product, and that's the reason why we started reaching out to health food stores. So when you sell it in a way to that owner that you have a product that's going to help boost the immunity of people, particularly during these times when people are looking for that during COVID, why wouldn't they want to give it a shot, right? So they bit. And when customers started coming back, flocking to the stores for more and more and more, again, this wasn't even about money. It was about helping people get healthy. And the store owners saw that's what I was about. And so they just, wanted to turn that, few little jars that I was giving them into a partnership where we, in some cases had some exclusive partnership contracts in place where they would purchase a certain amount from us. And that's kind of how, where it started. So, to your point, yeah, I'm a sales guy, but I'm also genuine. I actually care. You know what I'm saying?
Which is fact. Always have, from the Rickey that I first met with the smile, still smiling, definitely always have. And my thing is, like, obviously, like you said, the money's always going to come. But how does it feel to know that you're actually educating and helping people?
And it's not even about the money. You know what I'm saying? Like, my whole thing is, you could have a job paying you $50,000 a year, right? If whatever you do makes you happy, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Because there are people out there that are, I don't want to say an entrepreneur, because if you're an entrepreneur and you're doing something that you truly love, I'm assuming that that's what you want to do, right? But if you have a 9-to-5 that you're going to, collecting a paycheck, if you don't love what you do, you're not going to feel passionate about it, right? You're not going to feel good about it. The fact that this is up my arena, talking about health, I love this, man. When I see people get healthy, this is what we want, man. We want people to get healthy. It hurt me when my next door neighbor was in the hospital for a few days. My neighbor across the street went to the hospital and never came home, was dead, during COVID. My other neighbor up the block, she's in the hospital for a few days and never came back home. Like, that hurts me. What can we do to put your body in prevent mode? And it's not even just COVID, but any disease comes in your way, put your body in prevent mode and put it in defense mode. And how do you do that? Starts with good nutrition. So I would love to see the world healthy, because then the healthcare system would be down the drain, but obviously, you need your doctors, and don't get me wrong, right? Because they're there to help you. But are they really, right, to some degree? Because they understand it's a business too. And they're in it for the money too, which kind of makes it a little bit more skeptical depending on what doctor you see, and they're just prescribing you medication left and right. Are you really giving this to me to benefit me? Or are you just giving me this just to kind of get me out of the way, go see the next patient and go about your day and make your money, right? And that's why I had a hard time dealing with some of these doctors in the pharmaceutical industry, because, there were times I would call them out. You just prescribing stuff just to prescribe it. This is not even the same of benefiting anybody, right? You're not even talking about the things that they should be doing, right? Nutrition, good sleep, declutter your brain, and yoga, like things that actually get you healthy, versus giving them just a bunch of crap that is just a temporary fix. So, it makes me happy knowing that, people are actually taking their health more serious now. And I hope this is not just a fad, and people actually take this to the next level and keep their body in check, because there's nothing better, than feeling healthy, right? You could have that nice car, you could have that nice big house, you could have the most expensive suit. None of that means anything if you don't have your health.
It's just fact. So how does it feel to, like, within a year, because obviously COVID in March becomes a full year that, New York was shut down, at least, that you turned it a small business into a 6-figure income in a year?
So I won't speak on the numbers, but
I
know.
I don't want you to.
But here's the funny thing. So when I first started selling CMOS, and I was speaking to my partner Maurice, just an FYI, his father thank God, he's my partner, but he's also a really, really good friend of mine. Like, I love that man to death. But his father was always in the chemist industry, right? Dealing with, selling lotions and creams. And his father and
Hello?
Yep.
Yeah. What happened?
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Can you see me? All right,
Yeah.
there we go. So his father actually has a partner who's also a chemist. So we've been very fortunate, selling our products and having laboratories to actually have it tested, knowing the benefits are there, right? The minerals, the vitamins, no radiation. So, that's just kind of a sidetrack story. But yeah, I mean, look, when we first started, I told my partner, I said, why aren't people selling CMOS gel in stores, in big box stores, right? You may find it at like local health stores, but why aren't like big box health food stores or even just big supermarkets selling CMOS? And that's when we kind of said to ourselves, like, you can't just go to a local supermarket and find CMOS gel, right? When we first started selling CMOS, people were asking me, yo, can I go to my local grocery store and get this? And my answer clearly was no, because you can't. But then I said to myself, why can't we be that brand, that CMOS gel that's everywhere in stores, right? And then my partner said, yeah, let's do it. So when we first started and just kind of selling it to local retail stores and whatnot, that's when the big picture started to resonate with us and the light bulb flashed like, we're gonna be in big box office stores sooner or later, right? The Whole Foods and the Krogers and the Sam's Club and the BJ's, right? That might be a little too extreme, but you get what I'm saying, right? Because you can't really just go to any store and get CMOS gel. You know what I mean? You have to go to specific health food stores and get it. Why? Let's change that and let's make Healthy Vibez, in every store. And that's what we're in the process of doing now. And that's why we're scaling this business. So yeah, it started off, making a few little dollars to, here we are now,
Obviously, CMOS is becoming real popular. Obviously, CBD is becoming real popular. Do you think there'll ever be a connection with those two?
So some exclusive info.
Yeah.
We're actually researching that now because we're in the process of creating a CBD CMOS blend. So I won't speak much about it. There's a lot of regulatory stuff behind that, right? When it comes to CBD in the States, what you could sell. Obviously, cannabis, right? Clearly is not legal in the state of New York, but you can sell CBD infused products.
There is somebody I definitely want to introduce you to, though. We'll talk offline. But
yeah. We could do that. As a matter of fact, Mayor, right, over at Solari Hemp.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm working with him on trying to get some purified CBD and some powder, and it's going to be a process, but we're definitely working on that.
And that's another question. Like, obviously, since you became, people see your company growing. How has the feedback have people calling you up to partner with you? People that probably wouldn't answer your phone call a year ago, now they want to talk. How's that feel? Can you explain that whole process? Because I know I've been through that process before.
Man, I'm sure I know you have, man. You know what? That's a great question. So my phone is always open, but I'm super busy now, super busy. But just to that point, our brand got so much recognition in a short period of time where the Shark Tank reached out to us. Mm-hmm. And we didn't want to go that route because clearly once they want to get involved in your business, then you lose say of all the autonomy of what you're trying to do, right? But yeah, so we were approached by the Shark Tank and they wanted to, bring us on the Shark Tank. And, they reached out to us and said, we found your brand. Obviously during the height of COVID, there's a lot of health companies out there, but we like what you guys are doing. We like the aesthetic look of your brand, what you guys are portraying, the image and everything. So, we just had some small talk, and but my partner and Brie, we just kind of decided like, yeah, no, we're not going to go that route. But that's when we knew we had something, right? once they reach out to you and they see the value of what you're doing and the value of the company, that's when I'm like, look, I think we're ready to take this to another level. So it's been a great situation in a way where a lot of people are seeing the benefits of this and want to partner up with you. Yeah, we've had a lot of phone calls from people out there that I'm like, yeah, where were you a year ago? But it's all love though, right? Because it's all business. It's never personal. Let's talk. So we've definitely had a lot of discussions with a lot of people out there that do want to partner up with us. Won't get into any specifics, but we're very fortunate.
And how do you feel the whole process of building your own warehouse? Do you see that happening sometime this year, next year, and what the overall goal? Where you think Healthy Vibez will be? I want to say 2 years from now, but actually 3 to 5 years from now.
Man, how about 3 to 5 months? It's growing like that. I mean, it's growing to the point where, so I do have another job. I don't spend any time with that other job because this takes up 500% of my time from, strategizing on how we can partner up with other people, to your point, right? Being on the phone with other people that want to do business with us, clearly making the CMOS, right? Jarring it. Everything is done by us, right? We got a small team. And then, working with our marketing team, we got a social media team, creating content, visual content for the context that's out there, right? It's to the point now where we kind of have to build a factory, and where we're going to do that, that's to be determined. But we would do that yesterday if we had the resources, but we're building. Luckily we have the monetary capital to support what we're trying to do now on a scale level. So within the next 3 to 5 months, we're going to be getting a lot of machinery. I'm actually going to build something in my backyard, a factory in a backyard. And so once we get that built, we'll have the equipment, and then we'll be able to scale some other products that we have in the pipeline. So in 3 to 5 months, Healthy Vibez will not only just be in 15 retail stores. By then, in 5 months, we'll probably be in about 25, to say the least, right, on a good side. But we're already doing our e-commerce is our number one platform right now, where we're selling most of our business. It's probably 75% of our business, while the other 25% is wholesale in the retail stores. But we're obviously having a lot of other products in the pipeline. And the only way we could really master doing things at a at a scale level, we're going to need that factory, and clearly that's something that we need yesterday. So within the next 3 to 5 months, we'll have that processed and take it to the next level.
The 2 questions, though. I have one, bringing in a marketing team and a social media team. How did you go about that? How do you research that? Just for people that listen
yeah,
road and stuff like that. And how did you determine that this is right for us?
This is why you don't burn bridges, right? It's people that we went to college with 20 years ago are people that are helping us on the marketing side. Right, people that started their own thing, right? They went to school for computer graphics and visual art, and that sort of thing, and formed their own company, right? So my partner Maurice, one of his buddies that he played ball with, shout out to React Media. They're one of our marketing people that handle all our marketing stuff. They saw how quickly we were scaling, and said, "Yo, we want to help you out." And so they're the ones who built our website. They're the ones who create our marketing content. We got some really fascinating marketing stuff. And, it's because we always kept that relationship. So it all comes back to, you being a genuine person, not burning any bridges, and just partnering up with people that are in your network, right? You never know who you can do some business with, right? If you just, stay in contact with people, right? But when you're doing the right thing, it gets out there organically. And that's kind of what happened. So Michael Scott and his buddy Alex, reached out to my partner Maurice, and we had a meeting. And next thing you know, they're handling all our marketing stuff. And I don't know if you ever seen our marketing stuff, man. It's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, so I got the email. So where can people get Healthy Vibez at? Where can they learn about all the different ones that you have, jars that you have? When are you coming into Manhattan? Because you're a little prejudice over there,
We actually got a store in Manhattan, but we didn't really like the owner, and he was pissed off about that because he didn't really seem like a genuine person. I'm not just putting Healthy Vibez in any old store. It's got to be the right place. So But yeah, so you can go to healthy-vibes with a Z.com to see all of our blends. We got, some few shirts. Being healthy is a vibe.
I like that,
See
yeah.
here, one of them. We just got the trademark Moss It Up. So we got a few little apparel. We got some blends right now that we're working on for Black History Month, which you guys should, you'll just pay attention to our social media. Healthy Vibes _BK is our Instagram. Healthy Vibes LLC is our Facebook. We're on Pinterest. We're on TikTok. One of our TikTok videos went viral, and it really helped boosting our sales. So just an FYI, if any of you guys are entrepreneurs out there, if you're not taking advantage of social media, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, all these, LinkedIn, if you're not taking advantage of that, you're losing. You're losing. And I say that in the most respectful way, because right now, these platforms, right, are allowing you to, one, have a business, but you could do this or at scale, just using social media, right? Just like I said with Dre, posted a few of our jars, how it helped our business get to the next level. So you can find us on healthy-vibes with the Z.com, see all of our blends and see all of our stuff that we have in the pipeline. And just pay attention to our social media, because we got some pretty cool content coming out there.
Nah, it's crazy. I was actually talking to Sharice the other day, and I was like, "Yeah, I got Rick coming on, and I gotta order me another." He's like, "I got a job for Rick too. I gotta get.
You know what's funny? So E, to that point, man, I pay attention to every customer that purchases from us, and you know what hurts me too. And I know this is kind of off subject, but dealing with these carriers, right? The USPS. They kill me sometimes, right? Because we have a jar, right? That's a glass jar. And there's a reason why we have it in glass, because it preserves all the vitamins and minerals and whatnot. And it's clean, right? So these people, if I'm paying for priority shipping, or if a customer's paying for priority shipping, they're supposed to get there in 2 to 3 days, don't false advertise and have people waiting 2 weeks for their shipment. So one time I had to go to the post office and blast them like, listen, I'm a small business owner, right? My customers are paying for priority shipping. They're calling me saying, hey, it's been a week since I got my jar. Me, I take that personal, even though I can't control that. But I want to make everybody happy. So if it was up to me, E, I would go to everybody's house. I don't care if it's in Florida. I don't care if it's in California. I would literally drive to everyone's house to make sure that they safely get their jars, because that's how bad I want customers to get it. But I also know they want it because there's benefits to this, right? So when you got some of these carriers out there that are just lollygagging with your stuff, man, I take that stuff personal. So, we started using USPS as one of our carriers, and, we're no longer going to use them anymore. We're going to use UPS. They've been very efficient getting our stuff out there in a timely fashion. We're satisfied with that. But, it pisses me off when, some of these carriers don't understand from a business perspective, from an entrepreneurial perspective, you heavily rely on them to get your goods out to the customers, and they can't accommodate that because I don't even know what, man. I mean, all you hear is they just keep using COVID as an excuse. It kills me. So, I apologize to any customers that wait longer than 4 days to get their shipment, because if it was up to me, I'd be at your house right now at your front door, ringing on your doorbell, as you know, E, handing you your Healthy Vibez Sea Moss gel.
No, which is fact. And I would, like I said, I support the brand. I support you. How's it feel to have friends of yours support your brand? And we always talk about, I think we've talked about this years ago, friends that support you and friends that say that they support you, but they don't buy anything from you.
And you know what, E, to that point, you don't have to buy anything. But one thing I do ask is just share. Right? You don't have to buy anything. It costs you nothing to support. It really doesn't. And I don't mind when friends and family don't support, but just share, right? That's the only way. I feel like that's probably the most profound way to support somebody, right? Because when you have a good product, it's going to get out there and customers are going to purchase it because they understand the benefits. But when you got family and friends that say, yeah, I'm going to support you, and they don't buy, I'm cool with that. You don't have to tell me that you're gonna purchase something. You don't have to do that. But what I would love for you to do is just share the content that we have out there and just, let people know that, this is a great company, Healthy Vibez. So, but I will say though, man, a lot of our friends, they've been extremely supportive. I couldn't ask for anything more. So I'm very happy with, the support we're getting out there. So shout out to everybody who's been supporting.
Yes, I just want to say, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of Brie, the brains. Brie don't do social, but
Yeah,
she's the brain. So
exactly. That's all that matters.
And always you for your hustle and passion. And I can't wait to see me personally what's next.
Yeah. No, well, I appreciate that. And just hearing those words and those sentiments means the world to me. You've always been a big brother to me, man. So, first of all, thank you for even having me on this platform.
Man, I told you it was due, man.
I know.
We've been talking about this for a long time. So I was just like, Rick is doing some things out in Brooklyn.
So, it's funny though, E, to that point, right? And then I won't beat a dead horse, but when people saw where we were, back in March to where we are now, I'm very appreciative that the people that just hit me up and like, yo, man, I see you doing your thing, but like I really see you doing your thing, man. I mean, I got people out, family in other countries saying they're seeing your content out in in Jamaica and Grenada and Argentina and all these places. Like it's satisfying knowing that like you're really doing something big out there. So, to your point, man, shout out to you, man. I couldn't ask for anything more than you just for having me on this platform, and it means the world. I'm just getting the chills thinking about it, man.
No, I appreciate your time. Stay on real quick after I log off, but definitely said Healthy Vibez, buy that Healthy Vibez. That's how I'm gonna just end it. Just
we're keeping
it. Follow it on Instagram, follow it on Facebook. Rick, like he said, he might not call you today, but he will call you tomorrow if you have some questions, and he'll give you all the answers that you need.
And just when we share some content on the social media, just comment. If you purchased our jars before, just comment, because that means the world. I want to know what customers feel, right? So just comment, share. We want to hear from you, hear feedback. So to your point, E, follow us on social media, on all of our platforms. We're on all of them: Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everything. So, to follow us because we got some cool stuff out there.
I appreciate it, Rick.